we bought from scrap today. Repair electric bike motor. We will generate electricity with this electric bike engine. This is our electric bike motor. The only thing we can check is that the brake pad is solid. The pad works very well. But is there any problem with other electrical parts? Don't we know that? While I was buying an electric bike motor from scrap, I think like this. If the cable is broken in these motors, there is a problem. The fault is due to the cable. If the cable is intact, there may also be another problem, I think. But after watching this video, especially if the scrap dealers cut the cable, I can't say anything to him. First, I cleaned the electric bike motor thoroughly. This electric bike motor, in this chassis that I bought before, placing the front wheel, I plan to generate electricity from this to rear wheels when moving the vehicle. It will generate electricity in the single front wheel. So I need to repair this engine. After the cleaning process is completed, remove the Allen bolts on the engine one by one. I open the engine after removing the bolts. To remove the cover, after opening it slightly with the help of a screwdriver, I can remove the cover by hand. The inside of the electric bike engine is shiny. When you look at it like this, it's like zero. I don't think there will be any malfunctions anyway. Just after rewiring, electric bike motor, I think we can use it in a nice way. The broken cable, I remove it by pulling it downwards. When I pull the sheath on the cable with my hand, I can remove it easily. There are one medium magnet inside the motor, because these magnets are permanent magnets. By rotating this electric bike motor, it is very easy to generate electricity. There is no need to take any extra action, just a bridge. We will be able to generate electricity from this using diodes. When reconnecting these cables, we will use 3 thick cables 5. We will also use 1 sensor cable. These cables will be thin. Since I don't have the sensor cable, CAT, by removing some colors from 6 wires, I will use it as sensor cable. Cables required for the power supply of the motor. I will use 1.5 TTR cable. After stripping the outer sheaths of the cables, I am connecting them to each other. After these connections are finished, I definitely need to solder it. I definitely need to solder the power cable. Although sensor cables are not that necessary, I will still solder. But if the power cable is not soldered, a small amount of slack heats up and causes burning. Therefore, these cables must be moisturized. The cables I splice together. I solder them one by one. After soldering the cables, glass fiber to the motor's power cables, I'm placing macarons. After placing the cables in the tubing, I clip it to the fixed point of the motor with a cable tie. Because the sensor cables do not draw much power, because I think there will be no heating, I just insulate it with electrical tape. I don't use macarons. If only I had macarons in my hand, I would install tubing according to those cables. But since I don't have it on hand, I just use tape. But I don't think there will be a problem. After making all the cable connections, and after providing isolation to secure all other cables together, wrapping all wires with electrical tape, I turn it into a single cable. Then these cables I prepared, located in the middle of the engine shaft, I pull it out from the cable outlet at the bottom of the engine. Cables that look a little fluffy. I clip the cable again with paint. We have finished all the connections now. All we have to do now, reinstalling the engine cover. Engine cover. After reinstalling it and tightening the bolts, now we need to do one test. Now we have completed all the processes and installed our cover. Now strip the ends of the cables a little. I will separate the cables and sensors. After disconnecting the cables, I will use only 3 wires to generate electricity. So I will use these engine feeding tips to generate electricity from this engine. 1. I use bridge diode. This bridge diode 3, converting excess alternating current to direct current, can only give us plus or minus. Plus and minus are written on the plus and minus outputs. Nothing is written on the other ends, to the ends that write nothing. Electric bike motor 3. I will connect the cable. The direction of the cables is not important. After connecting the motor ends, by connecting the plus and minus ends to the socket, I will connect these to the measuring device and measure the voltage. Let's see how many volts it will give. I connected one side of the engine to the vise. Positive and negative outputs from the bridge diode. Connect it to the measuring device. Measuring device direct current. I will be able to measure when I turn it to voltmeter level. When I turn the engine by hand. Very nice. We can see that it somehow starts to produce electricity. Produces more than 12 volts of electricity. Actually, it would be better if we turn the engine faster. We'll be able to produce electricity at even higher voltages. But since we can't spin it very fast in our hands, the voltage is low now. I use a drill to turn it faster. When I turn it with a drill, the voltage even exceeds 60 volts. So 1 voltage value is very nice for us. That's all for this video. I hope you liked our video. If you liked the video, please don't forget to press the like button. Goodbye. See you in the next video.